All a happy learning. Welcome to Sahadhyayana. In today's video, we are going to learn how to represent various differential elements in Cartesian coordinate system. We know that a Cartesian coordinate system is represented using XYZ coordinates. The representation of a point in Cartesian coordinate system was already discussed while learning representation of a vector. You can find the link of that video in suggestion as well as in the description. I suggest you to watch that video before learning differential elements in Cartesian coordinate system. So, to start with, we have to consider a differential element in three-dimensional Cartesian coordinate system. So, first let us represent a three-dimensional Cartesian coordinate system. We are following right hand coordinate system, that is anti-clockwise coordinate system. So, we will have x here, y here, and we will have z here. Then I will consider a small differential rectangular box, or you can consider a cuboid also, doesn't matter. We are considering a defined shape because the understanding will be better. So, let me draw a rectangular box. You should imagine or should understand that this is a three-dimensional box covering x, y and z coordinates. Next, I will locate a point P on one edge of the box. So, to continue with, we will name the edges of this box. So, let this edge be A, this edge be B, this will be C, and where I have my point P, let it be D. Then your front facing, let it be E, F, G and H. So, to understand how to represent a differential length to start with, okay, we have to represent differential length, differential surface and differential volume of this cuboid. That will be good enough to give you an idea about differential elements. So, for that, let me consider a new point, okay, let it be new point on G edge. Okay, I can see here on the G edge, I am considering a new point. It is a corner, okay, corner. At the corner of that box, I am considering a new point. Let it be P dash. Okay, let me call it as P dash. Now, if I want to travel, okay, in the sense I am at point P now. If I want to travel to P dash, which are the path available for me to travel? So, we will try to find the paths which will guide me to the new point P dash. So, I can either travel from D to A, then A to B, then B to G, fine, I will be here. I can travel from D to A to H, H to G, fine, I will be here. I will travel from D to E, E to F, F to G, fine, I will be here. Okay. So, I can travel to different paths. So, what I need first is I have to choose any one path. Any path you travel, you are going to get the same point, or finally you are going to reach the same point, is it not? So, let us see, okay, let me choose one path first. So, I am choosing this path, I am traveling from D to C, okay, then I will travel from C to B, okay, then I will travel from B to G to reach my new point P dash. Now, how will I represent these paths? Once we know how to represent these paths, we can easily write mathematically what is this path. So, this side, that is side EF or side DC, okay, both are parallel to each other. So, the side EF or CD is lying parallel to y axis, is along y axis. So if I am traveling from E to F, I am traveling along y axis. If I am traveling from D to C, I am traveling along y axis. Same way, if I am traveling from C to B, I am traveling along z axis. And if I am traveling from B to G, you know that I am traveling along y axis. So the cuboid is so placed that the faces of these cuboids are parallel to any one of the axes. That's very important for understanding. Okay, so that is the assumption, or that is how I have drawn this the cuboid, so that all the faces are parallel to either of the coordinate. Okay, keeping that in mind, so as I told, there are different paths. Any path you take, I will be either traveling in y direction, z direction, then x direction, or first I will be traveling in x direction, then z direction, then y direction, whatever. So I have chosen this path, right, from D to C, then C to B, then B to G. So let us try to express those paths. So if I am traveling from point P via D to C, so what is that? Okay, so for writing the expression, let me, because this is very small, okay, as I told you, it's a differential element, so very small volume element it is. So I can represent the sides like this to be dy, because this is along y axis. So I represent this as dy, this length from E to F as dy, and EH, okay, this height of the cuboid as dz, because it is along z, right, and from F to C or from B to G, okay, this length as, okay, so I said dy is breadth, dz is height, okay, and length is FC, which is along x axis. So I can write this as dx. So I have dx, I have dy, I have dz. Okay, now I am at point P, which is at corner D. From there I am traveling to C. So I will just represent it initially. So I have to travel from D to G. So I am traveling from D to G. So D to G is nothing but path DC plus path BC plus path BG. Agree? Now this DC is along dy, the width is dy, right, because this EF and CD are parallel, it's a cuboid, so rectangular box, so the length should be same. So this is dy, and I'll consider the direction also. As I told you initially, I can move in any direction, right, I can move like this, I can move. So it is important to represent the direction, so that I'll understand in which direction I am moving. So when I am moving from D to C, I am moving for a length dy along y direction. So how I represent? I represent it by unit vector ay cap. So this was also explained in my previous video on unit vector. I'll put the link in suggestion as well as description. If you don't know what is unit vector, please watch this video before continuing this. Okay, so dy ay cap plus BC or whatever, CB. Okay, so I am moving next from C to B. So this movement is along z axis and height is represented by dz. So I am moving for a distance dz along z direction. That's the meaning. Plus BG. What is BG? Okay, from B to G, that is along x, along the length of the box along x axis. So the length is dx along x axis. So this is how I represent dg. Okay, now see, this is dy ay cap plus dz az cap plus dx x cap, which is vector obviously. So the right hand side is matching a vector, right hand side of this mathematical expression is a vector, so the left hand side we expect to be a vector. So I can represent this d. So I have traveled from D to G in this fashion. So I can represent this using a vector from D to, okay, G, that is point P to P dash. So from here to here I have a vector like this. Okay, I have a vector. Okay, I have a vector, and that vector, this vector can be represented as dl vector, that is differential length vector. That is nothing but this vector, dl vector. So, a differential length in Cartesian coordinate system is represented as dy a by cap plus dz a z cap plus dx x cap. And as we know, we always write x, y, z order, right? Because the coordinate systems are ordered. When I say 3, 2, 4, you know that 3 is along x, 2 is along y and 4 is along z. It's very important. It's ordered system. Okay. So, it is always better to write in the same order. So, differential element dl can be written as dx ax cap plus dy ay cap plus dz az cap. Similarly, we should be able to find differential surface as well as differential volume. So, I will go with differential volume first. So, this is differential length. So, differential length is done. Okay, differential length is done. Now, I should be able to find differential volume and surface. So, first I will go for differential volume because it is very easy to find differential volume just from the geometry. Because volume, differential volume will be represented by dV, it is scalar volume. Okay. Please remember that when I consider the differential volume in Cartesian coordinate system, I treat it as a scalar volume because I just consider the total volume as a value. So, how can I find the volume of a cuboid or a rectangular box? It is length into breadth into height. So, here I have dx multiplied by dy multiplied by dz will give me dv. So, I directly get differential volume just from the geometry, differential volume just from the definition or from the geometry. So, I have differential length, now I have differential volume. So, next let us see how to represent differential surface area. For finding differential surface, I will consider the same cuboid and I will consider the surface planes which make this cuboid. In the sense, by joining which and all planes this cuboid is formed, I will just separate them, I will segregate them, so that I will get a plane lying on yz, I will get a plane lying on xz and I will get a plane lying on xy. As bottom of this cuboid, right, bottom of this cuboid is lying on xy plane, this plane, it is lying on this plane. This, the front surface, back surface, etc. is lying on this plane, yz plane, and the side is lying on xz plane. So, we are just going to separate these surfaces. So, when I separate these surfaces, I get something like this. So, I will consider any one of the parallel surface because front, back, all these are parallel surfaces, so one each. So, this is my surface which is lying on yz plane. Then I will have a surface sideways that is lying on xz plane. Then I will have the bottom or the top which is lying on xy plane. Okay, either top or bottom of the cuboid. So, this surface is this. Okay, then this side fellow is this. Okay, then the top or bottom. Okay, so the top or bottom surface is this. I hope that is clear. Okay, now as we named, this is along y axis, so this will be dy and the height is along z axis, so this will be dz because it is a differential volume, so differential length and differential height, so dy and dz. This is the sideways, so this is along x axis, so this length was dx, taken as dx, and this height remains same, so this will be dz. And in this case, this is breadth, so this is dy and this is the length, so this will be dx. So see here, now I have three planes or three surface areas. One is dz dy, the other one is dx dz, and the third one is dy dx. So these surface areas lie in different forms to finally form this cuboid. That is the idea. Okay, now this particular surface, that is dz dy surface, is what? Then we have to see what is dx dz, what they represent, this ds dy. Okay, to know what it represents, we should know how to represent direction of a surface. So if we considering this as a scalar quantity, if you are considering it as a scalar quantity, it is just length into height, length into breadth, whatever. So this is a dy multiplied by dz will give me the area of this, is it not? But when I am representing it as a vector, I should have a direction to represent. So what we do is we always represent the direction of the surface area or direction of any plane normal to that surface, normal to that plane. So in this case, this is normal to this, or we say away from this surface. Okay, it can be outward as well as inward. So we always prefer right hand coordinate system, that is positive coordinate system, to represent the outward vector. So the normal to this surface is to x axis, that is towards u. So I represent that direction vector like this, something like this, towards u. Okay, along x axis, it is along x, it will be towards u or along x axis. So this will be a x cap, right? So that will be a x cap. Using the same idea, that is considering making the surface a vector, so I have to consider the unit vector normal to the plane. So this is my side direction, okay, the side of the cube. So this will be, the vector will be in this direction, that is in this direction. So this direction, so this is a y cap, because this is y direction. So this is a y cap. Now this particular surface area is lying on xy plane. So what is normal to that? Normal to that will be z, yeah. So this will be a z cap. So the normal vector will be along z direction. So I noted it by a z cap. So this has to be very clear. Okay. So now I have dz dy x cap as something, dx dz ay cap as something, and dy dx az cap as something. Now what is that something? So this area, the first area, that is this front area or this back area lying on zy plane, can be represented as differential area, okay, differential area ds suffix x, okay, ds x vector given by area and direction. So area is length into breadth, so dy dz in ax cap direction. So this gives me the front area, so that is dsx. I represent it as ds. So I am representing it as a suffix x because it just tells you that the surface area is represented along x axis, because the normal vector drawn is along x axis. Similarly, what will be the second one? Dx dz will be nothing but the surface area represented along y direction. So I write it as ds suffix y is nothing but dx dz a y cap. Similarly, my ds z vector will be dx dy a z cap. So these are the differential surface areas. differential surface areas of a differential element in Cartesian coordinate system. Okay, so dsx is differential vector surface area normal to x direction, dsy vector is differential vector surface area normal to y direction, and dsz vector is differential vector surface area normal to z direction. This is very important to understand because these differential elements play very vital role or very important role in study of engineering electromagnetics. This video will be very helpful if you are learning physics, okay, maybe in higher schools, higher degrees, okay, or in your secondary schools, BSc, engineering, everywhere. The basic understanding of this differential element is required everywhere. I hope differential element idea is very clear in Cartesian coordinate system. We have to further look into these ideas, or we should be able to represent differential element in other coordinate systems also. So, I will come up with that. Till then, bye.